Welcome to RidgeLife. Today we're going to be changing the oil and air filter in our 2017 Ford F-250 with the PowerStroke 6.7 liter diesel. Before we get started, let's go over some of the supplies we're going to need to do this task. Of course, you need a cart, oil collection device, a funnel, shop towels. You're going to need your oil filter wrench, 16mm socket, and then we have our Motorcraft original parts. We are using original Motorcraft parts for this job. You don't have to. With the oil filter, I really recommend you use the Motorcraft. With your air filters, you can use a third party. And with the oil, you can go with the Shell Rotella T5 or T6, T6 full synthetic. I go with, again, Motorcraft, all of them. And the Motorcraft oil is a 5W40 full synthetic diesel motor oil. And with the oil filter, it's the FL2051S. Again, that's the oil filter specifically for this truck. And for the air filter, it's an FA1927. The F-250 PowerStroke 6.7 liter diesel is a massive engine. Under the vehicle, we can see our oil pan and our oil filter. Man, this is so easy on the Ford F-250 6.7 liter to change your oil and get to your oil filter. Lots of room beneath the vehicle. And so we need a 16mm socket to drain the oil, and then use a large filter wrench to remove the oil filter. Another good thing is to make sure you're wearing some latex or nitrile gloves so you don't get the motor oil on you, and wear eye protection so things don't fall on your eyes. You want to have your oil pan closed when you start to loosen up your 16mm drain bolt. As you get it out, now this, if the engine's real warm, it's going to shoot out really far, so you need to back it up. Back your pan up as far as you can. Okay, I'm going to take it off. Applying even pressure on the bolt. And whenever I feel it is off, remember it's going to start coming out of there pretty high rate of speed. And you can see it coming down into our drain pan. Now, I'm going to let this run. Even when it stops coming out, I'm going to let it drain out for a good 15 minutes to 30 minutes. I found that a lot comes out when it slows down. To aid in draining of the oil, I'm going to remove the oil filler cap. That'll allow air to flow through and the oil will come out at a much greater pace. While we're waiting for the oil to drain, we're going to change out our air filter. And this is our air filter assembly right here, and you can see there's a indicator whenever it's clogged. You can reset it by pushing this button here. I usually change it before that ever comes to that. You can go as high as 45,000 miles on your air filter and as low as 10,000 depending on the dusting conditions or how you're riding it. Right now we're about 30,000 miles, so I'm going to change it out. Air filter is real easy to get to. Just pop these 4 clips open, lift up, and the air filter will come right out. You can see how dirty this air filter is even after 30,000 miles, so it's good to get it changed out and inspect it periodically. Here we can see a side-by-side comparison of the new one and the old one. Changing the air filter out is easy as putting it in. You can see the bottom of the air filter has got 2 indentations, and there's 2 raised bumps at the bottom that line up to those holes, and you'll get that foam on the corner of the filter in the hole on the outside of the housing. So get it lined up. Lines up fairly easy. Make sure you're over the foam, over the lip. There we go. The 4 clips on. This back one's a little hard to get to. There we go. And it's on. Make sure the indicator's reset, everything's on tight, flush, and we are good to go with the air filter. It's very important to prepare your new oil filter. I like to get some motor oil all along this gasket there, the seal, a little bit on the threads. That way it ensures it goes on easily. And we are ready there. while the oil's still dripping, and again, it will do it for a very, very long time, I'm going to get on the filter, get its lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, get it turning, get it turning, get it turning, get this thing turning. Once I get it loose, I can get it by hand. Once I get it by hand, I gotta make sure my hand is under the filter because it is heavy, full of oil. So get on top of this thing. Y'all can see me. Hope you can hear me over there. I know, and it's gonna start coming down pretty hard. And gotta keep a good handle on it. This is why wearing the gloves is very important. If you did this when the oil was hot, you'd be in big trouble. So I got it off. Get it down. Okay. One very important thing is to make sure the oil gasket comes off. You see that right there? That stayed on. If I would have put the new filter on top of that, we'd had a bad day. You can see the oil is still pouring out from the oil filter. So I'm going to leave the oil drain and the oil filter off until that stops pouring, because that's a lot of oil still in the engine. In case you didn't hear me when I was under there, when I took the old oil filter off, the gasket stayed on the oil filter housing. Now if you were to put the new oil filter on top of that gasket, two gaskets together, you would lose pressure, you would lose oil. It's a bad, bad thing. So Grandpa taught me a long time ago, always make sure the old gasket comes off. And 99% of the time it does, and you just saw just then it did not come off. So right now, you can see I've got the oil filter off, and it's still pouring. This engine will pour and pour oil for a very, very long time. So I'm going to let this pour until it stops, and then we'll put the oil filter on and the drain plug. You know, when you take this someplace to get it done, they drain the oil, put the plug in, take the filter off, put the new filter on, and you probably still got 2 or 3 quarts still left in your engine. Alright, it's been pouring out for a good 15-20 minutes. You can see it's still dripping pretty good, but good enough for me to stop. I'm going to put the drain plug in. Get that hand tight. Wipe it off. Alright, going to snug this up. Okay, and I'll come back and do a final torque check of it. Let's get the oil assembly cleaned off. Nice and shiny. Get all that oil off there. Get it all cleaned up. Okay. Get the new filter. Turn it on there. Got so much room to work under here. It's really nice in the F-250. Alright, so once I get it on there, I'm going to get it real hand tight. This thing does have a propensity to leak. Lots of pressure. Okay. That's it. Alright, we'll wipe it off. Tighten up our pan nut. Pan bolt. Drain pan bolt, and we are good to go. These are 5-quart jugs of Motorcraft 5W40 full synthetic diesel motor oil. This engine holds 13 quarts. Now I found that I can get about 11 quarts in there, you know, between oil changes. You know, there's, even though I let this thing drain for 15 to 20 minutes, there's still oil inside this engine. So I'm probably going to get 11 full quarts in this oil change, even though there's 13 quarts just designated for this engine. Make sure you don't drop it down in there. Get that off, and I just dump it up. That's why a large capacity funnel is really good. We have 11 quarts of oil in it. I'm going to pull the oil dipstick out. Check and see where it is. Now we haven't started the engine yet to let it fill the oil filter. Let's go ahead and get that in there and check it. You want to pull it out, clean it off, stick it back in, insert it all the way, pull it back out. We'll see where it's at. You can see it's a little high above the line, but we will fix that as soon as we start it. All right, we've got 11 quarts of oil in there. We're going to start it up to circulate that through, and then we'll check it again. And here we go. Big old diesel engine going. All right, we'll check it again in just a moment. Let the oil drain down. We'll see if we're right at full. We're going to check it again, see where we're at. Can we pull it out, clean it off, put it back in, seat it, pull it back out, and we'll see right where we're at. Oh, there's not even any in there. We're going to have to go 12 quarts. I did a good drain. We are having to put 13 quarts in there. I'm surprised. The most I've ever had to put in is 12, so I got a really good drain this time. I went off and did stuff. So 13 quarts. That's a lot of oil, especially this high dollar Motorcraft full synthetic. So there we go. 13 quarts. This should be the last time we check it. Let's see here, get this cleaned off. Pull it back in there. Set it all the way, pull back out, and we have full. Excellent, 13 quarts, just a hair down below from the top. I'm very happy with that. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and put our filler cap back on. Got that done. I'm going to show how to reset the oil change indicator. You can see that right there. Oil change is required. Let's go ahead and clear everything out. Oil change required. So now we need to scroll over to Settings, Advanced, Vehicle. So go on to Oil Life Reset. Hold the OK button down. It goes to resetting. And oil change required is cleared. Hope y'all enjoyed watching me change the oil in this 2017 Ford F-250 Super Duty with a 6.7 liter PowerStroke diesel engine. It's been a really great truck, haul a lot, just got a lot of comforts to it. It's the King Ranch version, we really love it. Next time we'll show you how to change the fuel filters. This unit has 2 fuel filters, one down in the back and one up in the engine compartment. It's kind of unique. So until next time, hope everyone has a blessed day and go RidgeLife.